We here, the ladies of Rewatch and Wine. I'm Raya, Reva,
and Lynn.
And we are here tonight to bring to you our book to movie adaptation of The Other Black Girl.
That was written by Dalila. I'm not sure how to pronounce her middle name. Harris. The book came out and was published in 2021 and then adapted in 2023.
Wow, that's a quick turnaround. What are we drinking?
Today we're drinking Linganore Abiso. It is a dessert wine. It's really, really good. A little bit of nuts, a little bit of chocolate. It's a great port wine to have after your meal.
Really? What's a port?
Yeah.
Definitely not my style, obviously.
I do like ports, so.
And it's very, very sweet. So let's get started. Let's, I guess, start with the book.
Yeah. So before we get started, whose pick was this?
I think it was mine.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to.
Yeah. It was a recommendation from a coworker.
Oh, okay, great. That's so nice. I love when we get recommendations from people.
Yeah.
So I'll start off with a brief conversation about how I felt about the book.
Okay.
So the book was extremely confusing to me. I don't know why the flashback to the different lives of people, I couldn't reel it in. Like it was taking forever to come together for me. It finally did at the end, but it was still a little bit of a letdown. And then the end of the book was confusing because I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like, did she change or not change? Or I didn't know what was going on at the end. So I don't know whether I like the book.
To piggyback off of that, I kind of agree with you. I was so gung-ho on this like mystery thriller mindset that I was waiting for something creepy or supernatural to happen. And I don't know why I was expecting that. Maybe it's because all I read are thrillers, but I kept getting confused because I was waiting for like the other Black girl to be like creepy and try to like stand in for her life or like some kind of supernatural being. I don't know.
Something.
I had single white female in my head.
Yes.
Like I was counting on that.
And I just couldn't get past the supernatural like serial killer stalker thing that I was in my mind about. So every single time
You're waiting for it.
Everything happened, I was like, oh,
That's it?
okay. And I was underwhelmed, but I set myself up for like a mental failure because I was imagining something else that was not a part of what the author had in her mind.
Right.
Which I'm not complaining about that, but it just wasn't what I expected. So
I like that because it was a letdown for me. Everything was just so underwhelming. And I was just like, can somebody just die? Like somebody get stabbed?
I probably should have read something a little bit more lighthearted before reading this book because I was waiting for like the other shoe to drop where somebody was going to get like their life adapted from where she was going to show up living the life of somebody else. I don't know. I was just not expecting what I read to be what it was.
Yeah, it did take you on a lot of, for me, it took me on a lot of twists and turns a little bit, but it turned and then the road ended.
Yes.
Yeah. It was.
It turned and then the road ended.
The conspiracy aspect of it it wasn't even like conspiracy enough. Like I needed it to be like, I don't know, like the president created this, like J. Edgar Hoover created this potion to change Black people. Or, I needed that conspiracy to be even more. And it was just so lighthearted. And then I don't understand if there was a twist at the end or not, because I don't understand the ending.
To be honest with you, I went back through that ending probably 6 times because I kept saying, did I fall asleep? And then something like those last maybe 3 chapters, I kept going back. Like
when it ended, I was like, I missed a choice.
Me too.
I missed something.
Oh my gosh.
But I couldn't figure out where I missed anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I'm just going to roll with it. Hopefully the gaps get filled in with like the adaptation. But I was like, because disclaimer, we do not talk about any of the adaptation for the book or the movie or show prior to when we sit down and record. So I had to fight my inner intrusive thoughts to text you guys and be like, wait, am I lost? Am I the only one? Because like Ray said, it like made a turn and I was like, okay, it's going somewhere. And then an abrupt end. And I'm like, okay, well, the F was that. So then I had to go and like wait again. And then once the book ended, I was like, but how did we get here? How did I get here?
See,
Yeah.
I was there too. And I was thinking to myself, there's got to be an epilogue. Is there an epilogue? Something has to round this book out for me because it just.
But it kept my interest. I mean, there have been
Yes.
books I didn't keep it did keep my interest because I kept waiting.
Yeah,
waiting.
I kept my interest. I kept wanting more, and I was like, when was the more going to happen? And the more didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I felt like an a-hole because I was thinking, why was this even adapted into a show? Like, what factor?
Why were we all on the same page?
Somebody see that I missed that was like, ooh, boom, let's adapt this one. Like the initial thought, because I know I don't research the book at all before
Yeah, I don't
reading it.
either.
So I was like thinking that, okay, this had to like grasp all the readers, all the like people that were intrigued by this in order for it to be made into an adaptation. And then I read it and I was like, where did I miss the whelming like need to be like, adapt this one?
That's a movie right there.
I missed it. Yeah.
So we didn't talk about it, but when Treva finally finished, because it took her a minute. I was like, God, are you not done yet? I am, but something happened. And I'm like, you're done. I just need you to get to the adaptation.
That was the problem because I kept saying, I'm done, but I gotta go reread. I gotta go back. Like it wasn't working for me. Rhea was frustrated. I know they were waiting on me to finish this book so we could record.
Well, in the meantime, while we were waiting for Treva, I was like, well, I listened to it on Audible. So I was like, well, maybe I need to go back and re-listen to it to make sure that I'm just not missing something. Because I felt like I was going to bring absolutely nothing to the table and be like, hey, how'd you like it? I don't know. Because I missed it. So I was going to re-listen to it to figure out what I had missed. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. Because if I get disappointed again, I'm going to be even more upset. So I was like, I'm just going to go with it.
Right.
3 times I did those last 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I did that
3 times.
I'm glad I didn't.
I thought it
because you're right, Lynn. If you'd done it again, you'd have been like, that was another hour of my life that I gave to that book. And so I'm glad I didn't. But it was difficult for me. And I don't usually have a lot of challenges with books like that.
I think for me, I just had such high hopes because being a person of color, when you have somebody else in the office and you can be like, there's the other Black girl, or there is the other Black person, or even a person that just knows how to is to be a minority, I was just like, yay, like this is going to be relatable.
And it was for me.
It was relatable to an extent, but then I just was like, you had the chance to really run with this story, and this is what I got.
Which takes us to the adaptation.
So I'm just going to say it. I loved the adaptation. I absolutely love the adaptation. And quite frankly, I could have just had that and not the book. But the screenwriters for the adaptation did such a great job filling in all the ridiculous gaps that were sitting in the book that were making it so that I couldn't tie anything together. And so I finished the series. What was it? 8 episodes, I think? 7 or 8 episodes?
Yes. 8 or 10, something like that.
And I felt relief. I felt completeness in this story because all the little things, and I'm like, well, who is that person? And what was that role? And how is that connected? The series filled it all in. I love the adaptation. So anyway, that's my spiel on that.
I agree. It gave me a very You vibe, just how everything fell together. And
the story.
The story.
Okay.
Yeah, the story, the You. Yeah, not you.
Not
Let's
you.
just say the You as
Don't take it personal.
I'm right. Did you see these clipping edges? Right. I'm not slicking this down.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, because at the end of this adaptation, I was like, and we're gonna keep going and going and going.
I definitely see a season 2. If
I could see 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh,
like at the last episode, I was like, bring on season 2, because I was already ready for it. But I agree with both of you. I really enjoyed the adaptation, and it definitely filled in those gaps where I was missing in my head when I was reading it.
yeah.
And a few of the things which I wrote down a note, I don't remember what the context of my note was, but I wrote down something that said like how I guess they had said there's like, this is a cult. And I was just like, it is a cult, but I don't remember what the cult was about now because that was a couple weeks ago. But anyways, point is,
What was it called? The hair club?
yes, maybe that's
Okay.
what it was. I think it was the hair club, and then like
It's the product, though. I felt like it was the product. Like the product did, changed you.
well, yeah, I mean, like even with like the natural, well, everybody going natural and then like trying to get away from relaxers or any chemicals in your head or hair, and you're feeling like you don't really belong if you do keep your chemically straightened hair or if you don't embrace your natural curl. I mean, I am all about the protective style. I don't know the last time I've actually had my own hair out just because the whole waking up and doing my hair,
Combing your hair every morning is over.
it's very, I don't know, it's like it just so much effort goes into it. So I try to go with like the natural movement, but then if you don't go with it, then you're not a part of it. So that was kind of like how I was feeling with like the cult aspect. So I don't know, but that was my note, and I went on a tangent. But point is, I did enjoy the adaptation.
I
But
loved it.
I love your tangent because honestly, it speaks to the Black hair care struggle, right? Because there's so much effort in Black hair care, whether you're going to go natural, whether you're going to put the chemicals in, either way, whichever direction, there's always judgment. And then there's always this need to change our hair when it doesn't fit what's suitable for the larger society. I mean, for years, that's why we got perms in the first place. So the tangent was, I think it was appropriate considering the storyline because the fact that this change of Black people was all built into hair care when it's the hair care that causes discrimination, it causes people to feel left out, it causes us to put chemicals in our hair that burn our scalp because we're so desperate to get our hair straight so that we can be part of the norm. That I think so. I don't know. I felt that sort of underlying discussion, but I didn't feel that until I watched the adaptation. Like I didn't get that connection at all just reading the book.
Agreed. And it's like, how else would you think to connect a culture that already has so much against each other? So, like, not just with like colorism and then like your hair being natural or not, and classism and all these other things that all lie as underliers that I guess the everyday outside of our culture doesn't see. How else would you connect every person of color? Because whether you are Indian, they do like the hair masks that have like the oil treatments and stuff. It's still throughout their hair, and and it goes down from like their grandparents doing their hair. You're sitting in between their legs while they do your hair. Same thing in the Black culture. So it's like, how else would you get this product out to connect everybody in a positive way? I guess it technically was trying to be a positive way because they all were higher powered people in their careers. But at the same time, how else do you reach everybody? You have to connect through hair.
Mm-hmm.
But also, did you notice now my hair is straight, then I really need to talk like this. And oh my gosh, the most hood raddest girl turned into the perfect person once her hair was straight.
Right. So it was the alignment of straight hair equals acceptable in society and removal from your personality, which is the struggle Black people have had for years.
Still do.
Our hair was kinky and it was ugly, and so we were desperate to get it straight. And that was the only way that we could be accepted. Until now, of course, we're all just like, I'm wearing the afro, and you better deal with my BDBs because that's just the way it is. But we still have to have things like the Crown Act to protect people from being discriminated against because of.
I was just at a conference. I was just doing a recruitment booth where some Caucasian male came up to me and said, "Whoa, you're you. Your hair's red, and you're you, and you're here representing your agency. I'm so used to seeing Steve, and you're here. What the hell does that mean?
That means why you here, niggers,
with your red hair." I was like, and then he follows it up with, "It's almost comical."
What's comical is your lack of like reality that I am trying not jump over this table and throat chop it. That's what's comical. Watch your mouth.
And I just, you know what? That's typical because you're British. And so anyway, like,
wow. But yeah, so I don't know. After watching the adaptation, there were so many layers in this. I mean, because this hair product was supposed to make it so that it removed all the stress and anxiety that we carry as Black
Yep.
people or Black women, all the worry about discrimination, all of this stuff. Like, I think there was a line where someone says, "Aren't you just tired of feeling tired of like feeling anxious, like feeling that way?" And yeah, you know what? We are tired, but I don't want no chemical change in that. And I don't want the chemical blinding me to that
Yeah.
because that's what it did to me. It kind of like blinded them to that and then make you this, person that is,
I guess, man.
yeah. Like, remember how I changed the one Black guy who was like a radical?
Yes.
And I was just like, wow. So his whole personality changed, his whole sort of fight the power, his whole sort of,
Jesse Watson was what the character that he was.
yeah, like that was just so disappointing. But then you think about other people that we know that are in the limelight that have just like that.
What did
And
you
you're
say?
like, do they have that hair product in their hair? So then the conspiracy comes in. You think of like the
Is it
Clarence
that
Thomas.
far? Like fetched, if you think about it.
I don't think it's that far fetched. We were talking about like the product and was like, it could be that stuff we used to use in our hair when we was living. Not sulfate. I ain't gonna say nothing
The
about
blue
sulfate.
stuff.
The blue. I have some
Blue magic.
blue magic. It's in my house right now.
Because that stuff was blue. I was like, is it the blue magic?
Couldn't be the blue magic because it didn't take.
Didn't straighten your hair out?
Couldn't be the sulfate. Can't be the blue magic. Can't be none of it works for me. So couldn't be. But those perms.
And there's no personality change. So it's not
Absolutely.
working. But there are some people where you kind of look at like, what rock were you raised under? Like how, like I don't understand how you became this person in this country.
Or how did you become this person and we grew up next door?
Right.
Because you had the same struggle I had. And what?
How could you say certain things don't exist?
We
So
love it.
it's there. I don't know. You might be right, Lynn. Maybe it's not far fetched. But the adaptation brought it all to life for me. It had me thinking, it had me feeling good, had me understand, had me appreciating this writer.
Yeah, the writer.
Because I didn't.
But it did, whatever point the author was trying to get out. If this was it did come across to somebody and they found a way to show us what we couldn't see. Like, I don't know. I'm not an author. You are. So I don't know if like there are limits to your characters or whatever they cut. Maybe they cut it out when it was time to go to publish. I don't know. But it just seemed like there was a lot missing unless there was this plan to do additional books that were going to help tie things together. But we're now 2 years out and we would know because it happened so quickly. I don't know. But if what?
I was with you, Rhea. I was with you.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, literally it was published and then all of a sudden there was an adaptation.
Quick turnaround.
So
there was no time for a second book.
She could have been working on a second book, still be working on a second book. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, if this is what someone got out of that book,
amazing.
Hell yeah.
So to rain on this parade that's happening, it was announced a couple of days ago that there will not be a season 2 to this show.
Oh, well, hold on. Who said that? Because who put it out? Netflix?
It was confirmed through Yahoo that it will not be. The article that I read was a Yahoo article that said that it will not be continuing into season 2.
But Obama's pick it up.
I'm hoping that if Zakiya likes to write wants to write another book, then maybe they will get like a reboot going and make a season 2.
Oh, no, we need to do just like they did for Grey's Anatomy. We want another one. And we want another series.
Grey's Anatomy.
I don't care.
Since it's been around for like 35 years.
I don't care.
Like
Come together right now.
Over me.
Well, that's disappointing to hear that because I would have loved to have seen what direction that they took this in. But maybe you're right. Maybe she writes another book.
Maybe some other organization picks it up. Another production company could pick it up. The Obamas could pick it up and they could do it.
Yeah, it says Hulu has canceled.
Or
Hulu canceled it? So maybe Netflix
can pick it up.
They've done the other shows, so
or did it hit home too hard? And Diddy
Circling
said,
back
stop.
to the conspiracy.
Somebody's
Diddy.
suppressing that info. Where is she? Where's the author? She's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, on a serious note, seriously though, please, more of this. Because I'm telling you, all I kept thinking about was you and how we could just move in so many different directions. You need some help, reach out.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah,
help
I
you.
definitely think they could do something big with the season 2 or multiple seasons from this. Now that the story has come
So
together.
many avenues you can go with this series fully, especially when Nella changed from, which of course she had the fro the whole time, and then when she was playing, she actually had the hair product in her hair, and her hair was all straight and changed, and it was there was somewhere that she definitely could go with it, but it could be a struggle where they could go where she does actually have the product and her best friend, which I love her best friend. That character was.
I was saying we didn't even talk about the cast.
Yeah, that character was awesome. But there could be a spinoff that goes with her and her best friend battling because her best friend is a hairstylist. And it could be something that she's trying to push within her job to spread it out more, things like that. There's so much they can do with it. It's where my brain was already
They could
going.
even tie in real world experiences. They could show different people in different positions of power that are using it and the influence that they're having on. It could just go in so many directions, right?
Or that you come in with your hair straight or some long wig on and you sit in a room and people think you're with them and you're really not.
Right.
Because that happens every day.
Which is what I think she was trying to do, which I'm glad they showed that on the adaptation because I didn't get that in the book. I didn't know in the book whether she conformed or whether she was faking. I didn't know what direction she was
They didn't go that deep. They didn't go that far.
But the adaptation made it very clear that, she's I'm in, that she was faking.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, y'all want to talk about the cast?
I'm because I'm trying to think of somebody I didn't like. And I'm usually able to say, I didn't like that. I can't.
Well, it was so hard to see the Will and Grace guy there in that role because that was real different for me. I only can see him as Will.
So speaking of other characters, hold on a second. Speaking of other characters that were on other shows, the Bellamy Young, who played Vera, she was one of my favorite characters from Scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And just for one, seeing her pop up was awesome. But then also seeing her on a show again that was predominantly about Black women and their struggles and whatever they have going on. And her kind of knowing that she's playing that role and know she plays that role well, I was very happy to see her. And plus, I love her. And I love her name Bellamy too, for our females in a boss name. But anyways, irrelevant.
Yeah, it was.
I loved her.
I loved her in Scandal also.
Yes,
I was very happy to see her. After that we saw her in. I can't remember what it was.
Speaking of Grey's Anatomy, I actually rewatched that recently. It's one of my background noises while I'm working. And she actually was on the episode that spearheaded the spinoff for Private Practice, but she was on Grey's Anatomy also.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why I saw it. Because, I've never missed an episode of Grey's.
I've never watched it.
Blasphemy!
I could probably answer some deep trivia about that show because I've rewatched it so many times.
Well, my plan is to start it, but I was going to, but then when I saw it was 555 seasons of it, I'm like, good Lord.
Oh, it's an investment.
Yeah.
But once you get started,
I'm going to get started. But
that's like saying I never watched Dum Dum. What's Dum Dum?
A Law and Order?
Thank you.
I've never watched. Well, I'm sorry. I don't watch Law and Order. I only watch it when I'm kind of wrapped into it when I go to my cousin's house because she has it on
Okay. You're going to have to watch Law and Order. I'm going to have to watch Great.
There's 8 spinoffs and 15 seasons of each spinoff. There's no way.
I watch every one of them.
I do too.
I'm sorry. All of them. We were supposed to be talking about this. That's my fault because we start talking about Bellamy and we need to get to more of these characters.
You're right. Focus, ladies.
Brian, what is his last name like? The guy that was the author,
Baumgartner, but he played Colin Franklin. I can't read.
Colin, I love him.
And his little his the scarf whole thing. Just I don't know what the scarf was doing, but it just made me feel like he was such a douchebag. Just by the symbolization of him having a regular t-shirt on and a scarf.
He dressed it up. He dressed it up.
And then the little the hat, it just was he was fitting that role. And then when he was waiting for Nella to apologize, I wanted to rip that scarf off his neck. And I know that's like hyperfixation on something that's completely irrelevant, but I was so hyper focused on it. I was like, "Girl, you better than me," because I would have ripped that scarf off and been like, "I don't apologize."
She was better than me on a lot of stuff because I ain't having it. I am not having it.
He was funny though. He nailed that role.
He did. He did
You
a really
actually
good job.
hated him in that show.
Who else? What's her name?
So the beef between Vera and Maisie, I actually love because I get like, I mean, I guess I'm gonna go in another deep dive into like the battles of a white female versus a black female going into the corporate world.
Mhm.
And then these two chicks have their own beef over something that honestly is irrelevant. Like you're still gonna come out on top because you are the white female in this situation. But the two of them have their own beef going back and forth and back and forth. And I just loved watching it because it's like it's so real because
Every day.
I see it every day, all the time, and it's like y'all don't realize how irrelevant this is to like everyday life. But then when, of course, everything dropped with Nella, or I'm sorry, with Colin being insensitive to tone deaf to like Black culture, and her trying to like take a picture of her to post and like validate on her on social media was so real because I have felt like the token Black girl in so many different situations to where I'm like, are you talking to me because you want like the cred that it comes with for knowing a Black person? Because I'm actually probably the wrong Black person that you want to know. But, and I was so like relating to that. So I think that like with the adaptation, I know I'm going on a tangent, but like with the adaptation, those little small microaggressions that happen in the show happen to us every day. So
Totally.
seeing those things, it was like, I love their beef because it's like Nella clearly had a big struggle to like deal with. But we're watching these two little like women who had to fight their way to the top. And it's like, yo, this is so irrelevant to everyday life. But they were really beefing with each other.
Right.
And so the way that they both played those roles it cracked me up. And I love both of the actresses that played them. But watching those microaggressions happen, especially from the predominant like white females in those roles, I was like, I like them. They did a good job with that.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I honestly, I can't think of one person that I did not like in this adaptation. I think the casting was great.
Did you like the boyfriend?
I liked him too.
Oh, the barber scene.
Oh my gosh,
the barber shop scene. Oh my god,
was hilarious.
So funny because you have such a quiet spoken like I guess he's a teacher, like a white man, just happy. He's a golden retriever. He wants everybody to be happy, and then you have Malika, who's like literally just balls to the wall, straight New York, ready to like go in and F some stuff up. And when he shaved the back of his head accidentally, I was done. The way he was just like,
she fixed it. Why didn't she fix it? I'm like, you're a stylist. Fix this man's hair. Fix it. No, you got him walking around in this big Winter Scully. Fix this man's hair.
Looking all crazy. But anyways, you could tell that they had a good chemistry amongst the actual cast. Mm-hmm. So that was easy or pleasurable for like a consumer to watch. Yeah. Like see when actresses and actors get along. And if it didn't get along, then they played it off really well. But the cast and all together, I really enjoyed the chemistry on screen from them.
Yeah, I did too. But what's her name? Gabriella? No.
Yes, it's something like
we haven't French. Seen her in a long time.
Garcelle.
I don't even want to tell you. I was like,
I was trying to figure out.
Naomi Campbell done gained a lot of weight.
That's so funny. But I'm like, wow, we haven't seen her in a while, but it was nice to see her back on screen.
It was. But when I first saw it, I thought she was, I was like, good Lord, Naomi Campbell. And then I'm like, that's not her.
It's nothing like that.
No. Boom, it hit me and I thought it was. And then I'm like, that ain't.
You know who I originally thought it was Yolanda Adams, because she plays on that other show, that other gospel show.
Yeah, you talking about Yolanda Adams.
No, but they actually pulled them up and they actually look alike. If you look at her on that other gospel show, I can't remember the name of it.
The Kingdom Business or something?
Yeah.
If I had to choose between the two people that you guys thought, I'm going to go with Yolanda Adams.
Thank you.
I recognized her, but I was just like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Well, okay.
anyways.
So what do we get? You know what? This adaptation is getting a full glass for me because the adaptation knocked it out the park. It made the book make sense. And I don't think they deviated. I think they added to it.
That I would agree. I would agree. I would agree. It would get a glass for me too. They'd probably get 2 glasses because I mean I was in
Because it's your
the
pick.
well, and I was sitting next to her in the cubby.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. And you're getting the notes at work too, telling you to leave.
Absolutely. 'Cause I done track down that purple pen in a minute.
Shitting on to everybody's desk looking for the purple marker. I give it a full glass also, and I agree with Treva to where the book set a foundation. I'm gonna say it like that. It set a foundation or a blueprint. And I think that with Zakiya being or I guess working on the adaptation with the other screenwriters, that they or screenplay writers, I can't speak, ignore me, but they all worked together well to where they branched off on where we needed
Yeah.
the gaps filled in.
Yeah.
So I give it a full glass for that reason.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that means y'all have to check it out. So you got to read the book.
Yeah.
Bear with us through the book. Just get through the book and then check out the adaptation.
Or tell us if you had a completely different experience to where maybe we're just, I don't know, 3 birds that flock in the same system or something that we just missed it. But if you guys had a different experience, please let us know.
Follow us on
Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
yeah.
Watch Wine.
Listen to us.
Like, subscribe.
on every platform. Subscribe, tell your friends. Pass on the
And YouTube.
word. And YouTube, yeah.
And give us some recommendations for some wines because clearly we like what we like, but we need to branch out.
Yeah.
I just learned that was it Tom Brady has a winery? Tom Brady? No, Drew Bledsoe. I watched the roast. Drew Bledsoe has a winery in Washington, so we might
State?
go.
Wait,
Yes.
You actually watched those?
Yes. That's just kind of funny because it was live and it was unruly, and I feel like if it was not live, half the things that were said would
Would've
not
made
have like been allowed. But he does have a winery in Washington,
Yeah.
so Drew Bledsoe is a man.
Oh, Drew Bledsoe. Thank
Yes. Tom Brady took his job.
In Washington State?
You said Drew Bledsoe. I heard Drew Barrymore.
Wait. Oh my gosh. Are you saying Washington State or Washington D.C.?
Yes, states.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. It's in the middle of nowhere, like southwest or southeast of Tacoma. So
Okay.
anyway,
First trip?
yeah, exactly. Or
Flight.
flight trip. Anyways,
Flight trip, yeah.
please recommend any kind of wines you guys experience throughout the country, around the world. I like to experience different wines.
Invite us. We'll come.
Yes,
Please.
please.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.